Hi, and welcome to Jen's Ink Spot. This is Jen, and today I'm going to share with you how I created this felt circle mobile that I have hanging in my craft room. Don't worry if you're not a sewer. I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks on how to create something similar without using a sewing machine at the end of this tutorial, so hang in there. I'm using the double duty circle dies from Catherine Pooler. They have a fun pierced circle around the edge of the circle, and so it adds just a little bit of detail, and they're just the perfect size for this project. So I pulled out my rainbow of felt, all different colors, and I started to run it through my Big Shot machine. I found that for the thinner felt, if I run it through one or two times, when it comes out, it has a very clean cut to it, and I can usually take it right out. So much of it depends on what kind of felt it is. I've collected felt from all over the place, and so I think this felt I ordered online through Etsy, but you can get felt all over the place. And so I've started to cut out my different colors of the rainbow. This felt that I'm using here is much thicker than the pink felt that I just used. This is because my Big Shot is so old. I've run it through multiple times because my plates are a little bit older also. From that you can see, I've run it through 5 or 6 times back and forth, but you probably don't have to do that if you have a newer machine and better plates. And as you can see, once I did that, it pops right out. I actually did all this while I was watching a movie, and so it went by fairly quickly. If you have a electronic die cutting machine, of course you can do the same thing with that as well. But as you can see, I just continue cutting all the different pieces of the rainbow until I have a stack. And I cut 10 of each color because my mobile has 5 different sections and each section contains 2. When I've sewed all of my pieces together, this is what it looks like, and I'm going to show you how I do that now. It is very simple. So I take my first color of felt, which is this light pink, and I want to show you the tail of my string. I made it really long because I'm going to use that later to tie it to my mobile. So make sure that your strings at the beginning of your strand of felt circles is long. You can trim it later, but you're going to want a lot of room there so that you can tie it. Once I've stitched straight down the middle of my first color, then I put my hot pink color right up next to it. I usually leave about 2 or 3 stitches in between the two so that it does make a little bit of a chain, and then I just continue going through all the different circles of felt until I get to the very end, and it's just lining one up after the other. And like I said, when I get to the end of one color, I usually let my machine stitch a couple lines just in between the colors, and then I just continue to feed them all through. And then my very last piece is this dark purple, and so I feed it through, and then I do a little bit of back stitching, a couple pieces only, and you really don't even have to do that, but I just wanted to make sure that it didn't come apart. Then I snip those ends off really close to the end because I don't need a string on that side. So this is the finished product, and like I said, there's that long string at the end. Now, if you don't have a sewing machine, this is how you can do it. You can see I've cut all of my colors of the rainbow here. You can find twine that you want. If you don't want it to be white, it can be colored. It can be different colors, whatever. And then you're just going to take it, your strand, and you're going to line it up in the centers of the one row of your felt circles. And then you're going to take the coordinating color and your hot glue gun. You can also use felt glue or fabric glue, and that works too, but I didn't have any of that on hand. And then you're just going to sandwich all of the pieces together like I'm showing here. Since my mobile was sewed, I didn't want to do the actual gluing here, but I just wanted to show you how you could do it and still have the same thing. Now I have my pieces cut out of cardstock instead of felt, and you can really see that detail on the cardstock. This would be beautiful as well. You can use the twine the same way. You can either sew it through your sewing machine, or you can lay the twine down, sandwich it in between with glue, and it would also look awesome. Especially, like I said, you would be able to see that detail. Now I use colored cardstock, but you could take some of your Catherine Pooler ink, spread it onto your cardstock, and make your own custom colored cardstock for this as well. This is what the top of my mobile looks like. I needed something to hang it from, so I took a embroidery hook or a hoop that I painted white with just acrylic white paint, and then I tied 5 pieces of thick string. This is a white twine, and tied it onto my hoop. So I did this in 5 places, and then I knotted all the 5 pieces together so that they would stay together and hold. In this frame, you can see how I've started to attach my strands to my hoop. I just tied them and knotted them 3 times so that they would stay, and I'm putting 2 strands between each of the 2 pieces of string, so it'll be a total of 10 strands I have on there, and I'm just using those long strings that we left and tying them around the hoop, and then I'm trimming off whatever string is left, because obviously I don't need that anymore. So you can see how easy that is to attach them. Nothing special, and it just works out well. And it's just so pretty. I just love all the colors. It's just turned out to be so pretty. I also forgot to show you before, but I made a knot at the top, under or above, so that I can hang my hoop. Here I just used a hook, and you can see what kind of ceilings I have in my room, and so I just attached the hook to one of the strips holding the ceiling up, and that worked really well for my craft room. But I'm so thankful that you joined me today, and I hope that you have a great day. Be sure to check out my blog for more details, and all of the supplies will be listed below. Thanks so much for joining me.